my dad had me out there probably around 3 or 4 years old. So that was my first run at it at Sergeant Park. And then from there, just kept getting better and better. Well, mostly when really minor hockey was Sergeant Park. And then when I turned midget, I went over to Orioles Community Club. Back in those days, they were good because a lot of the parents came, but it was outdoor ice all the time, so they stood on the side, and if it was too cold, they didn't come. So I guess it kind of reacts to what's going on now and what went on then, and then the parents never said a word.
Did you play out of Sergeant Park at first? Was that an organized league? Or?
Yeah, it was. It had all the little community clubs around the area. So I played playground there, and I started in playground when I was 12, and we played at West End Memorials and Orioles and all that stuff. So that year was kind of a dry year. I got the only goal we ever scored during the year and got 25 cents for it, so it was a big deal. I played center. I don't know. I just kind of gravitated that position. I'm not sure if in minor hockey they didn't have a centerman or whatever, but we just had a few guys. We only had maybe 8 or 10 guys, so you pretty well played the position that was open, and that was open, I guess. So I took it upon myself to play it. Yeah, a little bit. I enjoyed them. I know when I got to midget hockey, the younger ages it didn't bother me. But when I got to older hockey and I played a couple of years midget and then the first year juvenile, and I was thinking as I was playing, I was thinking, geez, I wish I was as good and as big as some of these guys, because they can skate and shoot the puck, and they're big guys. They played on the same team as I did, but I don't know. I just admired the way they played. Only about 4 or 5 kids stood out, but I thought liked those kids, and it ended up in the end. I went to junior the next year with the Braves, and one guy came, defenseman, but they never really played at all. And that year I went to, I played with this Langrel and LeBlanc that first year junior, and we won the Memorial Cup with the Winnipeg Braves. Well, there's one coach that the one coach that coached me at Orioles was Dr. Lloyd Freehagen. He was a doctor, and he was just a minor league coach, like he didn't know much about it. And then when I came up to the Braves, Bill Allen was the coach, and just so happened that Bill Allen was later on years became my father-in-law. Well, we didn't wear helmets. It was like a lot of times. If you hit a guy, I don't know if he got hurt or you got hurt, because the equipment wasn't really armor like it is now. I think personally myself, equipment is too solid now, and I think that's what's hurting a lot of people. It doesn't give way, and in the shoulder pads, in the old days, if you hit a guy with your shoulder, you're apt to come up with a bad shoulder more than the other guy. So it kind of helped a little bit, I think, that the equipment wasn't so rock hard. We used to have a rivalry, I guess, with the West End Memorials, and CUAC was always a rivalry because we both had pretty good teams. Like, we had a pretty good team in juvenile, but in those years you could play 2 years juvenile and 2 years midget, if I recall. But I played 2 years midget and then just the 1 year juvenile, and then went to the Braves in junior. Well, we played out of the, I remember going to games before I played junior in the amphitheater, but I wasn't playing then. But I remember Gary Elkhorn and Len Thornycraft, guys like that played ahead of me. And then, of course, the old Olympic rink with Pat Lyons there. I recall that rink was really, really old. And then we used to play in the arena for years. The Braves, Rangers, Canadians, I think, and even the Monarchs were all situated out of the arena in those days. Yes, it was. Yeah. I signed a C form with Boston through the Braves, and you got $100. It was a big deal in those days, but that was a C form, so that kept you with that team. So I was pretty well owned by Boston.
Any regrets on signing that?
No, the only thing I guess was that there was $100 involved, and that was a lot of money in those days. So never even thought about the team. Like, we were the Braves, and then it was the Warriors were the pro team, and then of course the Bruins were on top of that. But in my second year junior, Lynn Patrick and Milt Schmidt came to Winnipeg to see me play and get my pictures taken with them and everything. I didn't even know who they were, but it was quite a compliment, really, for me.